We are at Commercial UAV Expo 2018, and I'm with Anil Nanduri from Intel and Benjamin Benaroche from DELAIR Tech. So guys, tell us a little bit about the investment that Intel made in DELAIR. What has that meant to and for DELAIR?
So for us, it's a strategic partnership that we started 2 years ago with Intel that is going further now with this investment. For us, it's a key investment because it allows us to continue developing technology on the software side and work on developing AI software for data analytics for enterprise accounts.
And Anil, what is this investment and working with DELAIR at this level meant for the development of Intel Insights?
So, Jeremiah, thanks. As you know, we've always looked at, how do you take drone and drone technology and be able to scale it into the commercial ecosystem, right? We always knew two things. One is that capture of data, make it repeatable, accurate, and to automate it. So you kind of have that process to be able to capture this data in a repeatable way is a key, I would say, an accelerator to grow this ecosystem. The second one is once you have all this data, right? For example, in the US alone, we have over 600,000 bridges. And if you want to inspect them and use drones as a tool, the amount of data you're going to be capturing to create 3D models of that at a high resolution accuracy, you're already looking at about 25 exabytes of data. It's not terabytes, it's not gigabytes, it's petabytes, it's exabytes. So you can't just have people analyze this. So you need to automate the analysis of this data as well, so that reports can be generated, the defects and the issues with the bridges and the infrastructure can be automated. Right, so it's an end-to-end workflow is how we looked at it, right? And so we've been focusing on getting the hardware platforms, the autonomy going, and now with this Intel Insight is a big step in taking all that data and to be able to make it easy for the user to just use it and get the results that they need.
And was that one of the key pieces of feedback you received from users in terms of it not being easy, and that's kind of hindered adoption in some cases?
And if you look at how drones are looked at, if you look at the industries we're looking at, right, whether it's construction or utilities, I mean, they have been using workflows which are traditional. While drones are interesting and have great value, it's new technology for them. And not just that, when you tell them inspect 500 images or 1,000 images and you exponentially grow that, if you kind of keep repeating it, they're not going to be able to handle this. And we as people can't just look at screens and just inspect those. So we need to provide tools for them. And for them, what really matters is show me how many defects. Show me the 3 or 4 images that I need to worry about, not the 1,000,000 images that you give me. So we have to make it easy for them. And this is actually something that when you look at scaling into enterprise and other verticals, they look at that and saying, okay, how does it solve my problem? Right? And so that's what we're trying to get to.
And Benjamin, maybe you can talk a little bit about how working with Intel has allowed you to solve more problems for your current clients and even expand the kind of customers that you're trying to reach.
Yeah, that's a good question. We've seen over those past 2-3 years, more and more large companies getting into this technology, and enterprise account wanting to scale up the use of this technology. So for us, it makes a lot of sense to work with a company like Intel, who can talk to the top level management of those companies and work actively on digital transformation for those companies using aerial imagery. And for us, that's something that is required to work with a company like Intel, who can deploy very large programs with those companies in order to really help them leverage this technology as much as it should. So for us, it was very important. And also, this fundraising that we just did with Intel is also key, because we see now in the UAV industry an intense consolidation movement. And for us, being able to be a part and very active in this consolidation is important, because we need to reach the critical size that a company needs to reach to really bring value for the customers. So today we're 150 people in the company. We sell in 80 countries. We think we need to grow even more than that to be able to really answer to our clients' needs.
And Neil, you talked a little bit about being able to provide value. In that way, is it about changing the approach that certain people are taking to a particular task, or is it about kind of making it more efficient? Is it about something new or just something better, or maybe both?
So I look at it from simplification, right? Because for a customer who doesn't know much about drones or drone technology, maybe there are people inside their customers, in certain large corporations, they're passionate and hobbyist about drones. But when you look at the CIOs and the CTOs, and they want to see how drones can solve their problems, it needs to scale in, right? And for them, they don't need to worry about airspace. They don't need to worry about which drone technology to use, how to use them. They want to. All they care about is how does it make my job faster, safer, more efficient, and cheaper. Right? If we can solve those problems for them, then drone technology is the one we believe is the way we can do it, and that's the value for them. And for them to simplify that, you have to automate this process for them. Today, you need to worry about, okay, where are the regulation? Who has the flight permit? You need to worry about, okay, what do I do with the data? Do I use, a photogrammetry tool like Agisoft or Pix4D or Bentley? Then what kind of analytics exist? How do I run them? So you start to see, and you see the fragmentation within the whole workflow that each person who needs to solve using drones has to go through. You come back and say, how do you simplify this? So you think of end to end. And how do I use technology and software to solve it? So you think about the Intel Insight like software. This says, I just want to fly a mission. I want to look for, something like a stockpile calculation, or I just want to look at, number of cracks on this bridge. You want to see those kinds of information. Software should be able to quickly summarize that for you. And the person who's actually looking for that data may not even know that it was a drone and how the drone flew, when did it fly. He's getting results and he says, okay, it flew 2 days ago, and here's all the data at a dashboard. Right? So that's the kind of simplicity we are looking at, that we are trying to get to. Using Intel Insight, it's about that collaboration of the platform. What Insight brings is choice of processing. For example, it integrates Pix4D and Bentley. So the customer can choose, because for the best application and the best use cases, the best processing engine. So you're able to choose from there. You can be able to share and collaborate with members across sites. So imagine you are flying a drone here in Nevada, but then your inspector who's up in Oregon, you can actually share remotely the information on Intel Insight and quickly annotate and say, hey, can you look this up? And he can immediately on the same platform, exactly what you're looking at, he can look at it as well and then be able to say, well, I see a defect here, this is important, needs to be fixed immediately. So that kind of a collaborative tool where it's cross-site, cross-teams, and the person who's flying the drone may not be the one who's inspecting it. So that whole flexibility and simplification is actually available in Intel Insight.
Yeah, it sounds like it just opens up all kinds of opportunities that users can then explore as it makes sense for their workflow. So Benjamin, tell us a little bit about what you're excited about maybe in the next 6 months to a year, either working with Intel or kind of what's going to be happening with DELAIR Tech, or the sort of customers that you're going to be connecting with and making a difference for.
Okay, yeah. So one of the things we're excited. So we started convincing companies to use this software. What we think is the next step for the next 6 months or years, is to be able to do what we call system integration, which is to plug those software for aerial imagery analytics with other software that enterprise accounts use on a daily basis, like ERP, BIM, maintenance software, every kind of software that they use. We need to make sure that the software that they would use for data processing would be connected to those. So we are just launching a business unit that will work and help enterprise accounts to do system integration for the software. And we think that's one of the way we can scale up the sale of this technology and go from 10 licenses to 1,000 licenses among companies.
I mean, and it really enable that fleet of drones that we've heard about and talked about. And Anil, what about you? Anything you're excited about in the short term or near term?
Yes. So for us, the focus is on two things, right? One is, how do I create automated missions? So all you press is a one click of a button. You've seen our light shows. How do we make commercial inspections as simple as that? You press a button and the inspection is automated and completely captured. The second one is, how do I automate the software and the analysis of it and use AI, machine learning, as tools to make it simpler for our customers to get results. So Intel Insight is the great platform that allows us to build upon it and to build exactly the use cases that customers want to solve and focus on the advanced analytics that you can then build upon.
That ease of use is key, because if it's not there, people don't even know what they're missing. Thank you so much for joining us.